Good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, and we are live. Earlier today, I posted chapter 4 of my book, Get Out the Door, and I start to talk about what happened after the end of last week when I was on the motorcycle. I shot forward and hit the curb. So it is quite an experience to go back and relive that time because I really didn't know what happened. I didn't know what hit me. And fortunately, a neighborhood guy was walking by and saw the accident happen, and I was lucky enough that he called the paramedics to help me out. So take a look at the story at www.hollyworks.com. You'll see a link posted here, and I look forward to hearing your comments about the story. So, this weekend I taught a couple workshops on storytelling, and I'm using some of those techniques as I'm writing this book, as I learn how to identify what the story I'm trying to tell, what point I'm trying to make, and what details are important for the listener to make the book interesting to them. And in the workshop that I taught, I covered a number of things. One is story structure. One is identifying who the characters are and the direction the story is taking. Because there are a number of story formats that are out there. And one of the questions that I got in the workshop was, do stories have to be linear or do stories have to be sequential? Hey, Joanne, good to see you. Hey, Elizabeth, Pam, and David Dieselberg. Good to see you all. So the question was, do stories have to be sequential? Do they have to be linear? If you've ever seen Pulp Fiction, stories don't have to be linear. But I think they do have to be directional. Hey, Tom Donahue, good to see you. Sloan Hamilton, good to see you. Stories should be directional. They should have a place from where they start and where they go so that the conflict keeps the listener interested and the conflict builds towards a story point. Hey, Mark Ledoux, good to see you. And if you ever watch any of the episodes of The Twilight Zone, and the original series, not the new one, all 60 episodes, all 5 years of that show had a certain formula where you'd start where an ordinary situation, some event happens, this person is taken on a journey, there's a twist, and then what they learn as a result of that. And that's the format that this story takes too. Is I was off minding my own business, learning to ride a motorcycle, and all these events happen. So I'm trying to tell the story as best I can, and as I do that, I'd be excited to hear your comments about what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, things that need to be clarified. Hey, Mary Hemming, Reams, Mark Villarreal, Melanie Witt, good to see you. So if you go to www.hollyworks.com, you'll see the latest entry. And I talk about what happened after I hit the curb. I bounced off the bike, hit the pavement, and really didn't know what hit me. And it took me a little bit to realize that my right leg couldn't move. And all the thoughts that went through my head as a result of that. So think about events in your life where you've been hit by something that you didn't see coming. How did you feel when that happened, or how did you react to having that sort of thing happen to you? Were there people around who helped you out? Were there people around who could take care of things when you couldn't? And those are some of the things that I talk about in the book. And making an appearance, because I didn't shut the door, is Toby. So you guys get to see him right before I shove him back down. So everybody say hi to Toby. Toby didn't help write the book. He's no help whatsoever. But he is a good cat to have around. And so that's chapter 4. there. Chapter 5 will be coming next week. I'm trying to stay just a few chapters ahead of everybody else and keep writing so that I keep working on the book, because I do have a goal to be finished with the book at as soon as I can possibly finish it, and then hopefully get into editing this this fall, and then hopefully release the book by this Christmas, by this holiday. Speaking of holidays, in the United States, the 4th of July, Independence Day, is coming up, but also this week is the first day of summer. And in Washington, D.C., it's already very hot and humid, and you've got to get out early if you're going to do any exercise at all. I'm not riding a motorcycle right now, but I do like to get out on the bicycle, which is a little bit safer. But I do have to get out very early so that it isn't way too hot before I start. Next week will be chapter 5. Looking forward to posting that. And I do have about 3 or 4 chapters ahead of you. And you'll get to see what happened after I found out what happened to me after I hit the curb. So I can't give away too much of that now. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert here. But since I'm sitting here, you do know that some things have happened since the book started into now. So please do go out there and give me your comments. If you have stories that you would like help telling, send me a note on Facebook. And the cat is demanding attention. He gets to stay down there. If you have stories that you'd like to tell and you're having trouble telling them, let me know. I'd be happy to point you in the right direction to a lot of great resources that I found helpful to me in putting together this story as well as other stories. This weekend at this workshop, somebody asked me, do you always have to have a big, exciting story to tell? And no, you don't. Some of the stories I told this weekend were, I told a story about fixing the dishwasher. And that had all the same story beats as actually this story does. It had an ordinary event, complications, rise in conflict, and a climax to the story, and then a lesson that I learned as a result of just simply fixing the dishwasher. So stories don't have to be big and heroic and exciting. They can come from very little things that happen to you on a daily basis. Sherry, good to see you online. Also, I'll see you this weekend. A number of people here from my high school are posting, and this weekend is my high school reunion. So I'll be getting on a plane and going back to Indiana and getting to see people who I've not seen in a long time. So that's going to be exciting and a lot of fun. So chapter 4 is posted. Chapter 5 coming next week. High school reunion this weekend. So I'm sure people will be peppering me with questions as to what's going to happen next in the story, but I can't give it all away right now. Put your comments here or on www.hollyworks.com. Thank everybody for coming out here and joining me on this Facebook Live. Next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we'll go live again. And I look forward to seeing you online. I look forward to shutting my door to make sure the cat is outside next time. And keep writing, keep telling your stories. And the most important thing to remember is no matter what challenge is in front of you, is get out the door. After that, everything else is easy. We'll see you next week.